Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Zatima. These are episodes 17 and 18 of Season 3. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, subscribe, and also you can leave your comments below. I absolutely loved episode 17 and 18. We needed this. So let's get into them. Alright, so the fallout of this whole Leslie trying to show this picture of Malachi and Fatima together. And she's trying to say that they were just hooking up just a little while ago in a hotel and all this stuff. I need you to admit it, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And Malachi, no, it wasn't. This is an old doctor photo that I had, da-da-da-da-da. So stop all this stuff. They start arguing, and then all of a sudden, Fatima says, enough! The whole time, Zach is not at all bothered. I love that about him. And she said, to Leslie, Fatima, like, stop all this. I have never been there. I don't know what you're talking about. We've been over, da-da-da-da-da. And she finally kicks them out of the house. Or I think Malachi says go. But we're finding out that Malachi really does still have feelings for Fatima, which is kind of weird, but you married the girl that you cheated on Fatima for, that was her friend. Y'all got some crazy stuff going on. That's all I can say. So they leave. Fatima and Zach, they're still sitting at the dining room table. And Fatima's like, are you not mad at... You're mad? Are you... And then she said, you want to talk about this? He said, no, I don't want to talk about that. He said, well, what are you mad about? About keeping me in jail. So Fatima's like, look, you need to learn a lesson in regards to this whole Jeremiah situation. And you don't need to be doing this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But you can tell that their argument isn't as heated and charged. We're really coming off of this whole heightened emotional and slowly just coming back down the mountain into the valley, where they can at least talk things out in a more rational way. They talk a little bit about it, but he just says he's still upset. Fatima says, you need to go talk to your brother. He said, for what? I'm not doing it. You need to do that before you get some extra charges on you. You better hope that the DA doesn't. I'm like, that's what Connie was trying to tell you, but just thank God that Jeremiah is not unalived, Something happened. I think Zach ended up leaving, but whatever. They end this conversation. It's not done. They haven't gotten to a resolution, but whatever. Zach goes to see Tony. They have a heart-to-heart. Tony really is kind of the voice of reason outside of his friend group. And Connie is too. But Tony has a way of reaching Zach. Each one has a way of reaching Zach and giving little portions of something to Zach. I'll just say that much. Tony ends up saying, look, there's something about you of where you can go to 0 to 100. There's the good guy Zach, and there's also this monster Zach that comes out. And those are things that you have to really work on to make sure that that monster Zach does not come out. Now, Deval, he came on Twitter like a week or so ago, and I guess someone has pointed out, as far as one of the fans, about Zach possibly having bipolarism. That could be something that's going on, because he goes from 0 to 100. He said, we knew that you weren't just fighting Jeremiah on behalf of Fatima. You fought him for all the stuff that's inside of you, and you let your anger go, and it could have went worse, and you do owe him an apology, and you got to get that under control. Zach was able to hear. After all these episodes, y'all, I'm glad. I'm really glad. So the next scene, Zach goes and visits Jeremiah. It was a good heart-to-heart. I would cry on here, but I don't want to cry. Not that I won't, but I just don't want to right now. Jeremiah apologizes. He didn't. Zach said, like, you can't be hitting Fatima. That's a no. And Jeremiah, I didn't hit her. I was trying to get some money, and she ended up falling. And Zach said, I don't care what happened. You cannot do that. I got a problem. You got a problem, but you can't just hit on people. And then he said, I need help. He does apologize to Zach. Zach apologizes to him. Jeremiah says, I know you're sorry. And he said, how you know? Because you beat my before. And I guess that's never happened before. But anyways, he says that I want help. Will you help me? And Zach said, I'll help you. And he ended up hugging Jeremiah. I said, Lord. Because he's like, I want to get off this stuff. Because I think that that's what unalived our mom and all that good stuff. It was such a touching scene. My God. My God. My God. Whew. It was needed to actually see. You know, I knew we would come back to this place. I just didn't know when. I knew the writers were cooking up something to get some type of recollection. I knew it wasn't going to stay at this place. And I don't want to cry. Only because I know that I wish I had a chance to just reconcile things with my brother. We were just cordial and never had a heart-to-heart. And that bothers me. And I'm glad to see black men, black brothers being able to get back on the same page. And this is all I'm gonna cry about. But I was glad to see that. What I was gonna say. Yeah, sure. From there, Zach goes back home. I think he takes a shower and he gets in the bed and he asks Zatima, "Are you asleep?" Then he goes over and kisses her or whatever. She ends up turning over and they have a heart-to-heart. Also, we're getting back to the Zatima that we loved, where they had all of these intimate conversations, which was so good to hear. And basically Fatima said, you know, you got to get your ish together. We cannot be doing this. I don't want our children to be around all of this stuff. And Zach said, I know. They apologized to each other and they're going to work on themselves. Zach said, you know, well, let's talk about you. And Fatima was like, what are you talking about? You fly off the handle too. And she said, I know, but I'm getting better. I don't think Fatima should get off that easily. I'm sorry. I love you, Fatima, but you may not be as erratic. I mean, you could go to jail concerning this whole danger thing. So I'm glad that this episode kind of focused on them and not had all the other outside characters so that they could actually just get in tune with each other. Fatima asked, like, how come you didn't go off when you saw that picture? He said, I knew that wasn't you, or at least it was a past picture. And she said, how? Because you still had a piercing at the top of your ear. And you don't have that anymore. I know that closed up. Oh, you notice that closed up? He said, I know every hole you got. Being nasty. But anyways, yeah. So they talked and they just got back to that place. Or they just needed that place to kind of refuel. And of course, Zach is trying to get some sex out of her. And of course, she said, no, not tonight. And they go to sleep. Now, Tony did say to Zach when he came to visit him that there's been some robberies going on. And he's been kind of trying to throw the robbers off on when we're going to be here and all that good stuff. So that's why he was there late at night. So we cut to a scene where Tony's still at the shop. And all of a sudden, this dude with the mask and a gun basically is holding him, not hostage, but holding him at gunpoint. Tony turns around. But I do remember that Zach said that, or asked him, are you strapped? And he said, yeah. So we don't know what happened, but gunshots came off after Tony turned around to face the guy. I was like, I don't know. But at least in the trailer, we saw that Tony's going to be fighting some dudes. But it looks like at the funeral home. So we only got 2 more episodes left. Well, 3, because I still got to talk about the other episode. But next week, there's only 2 more episodes, and I don't know. But anyways, that's it for episode 17. Bravo to the writers. Thank you. And to the actors. Episode 18. After Zach was just trying to get it in again with Fatima, she finally caved in after him knocking with his dingling on the bathroom door. They go on and have their sex in the bathroom or in the shower, I guess. So Zach, he goes, not yet, because they got other stuff going on. Because they got to go pay the crazy mortician. And all these different prices. They say he was just trying to say, you got to get this done, or we're going to hold the funeral up if it's not paid by tomorrow. They said, cool, fine, we got all that. Zach and Fatima are together after that whole situation, because I think Angela had called and said, what's going on? I thought you were going to talk to the guy Malachi, and she said, I got to tell you something a little bit later. So she said, we'll just talk when we get to the job. After they meet with the mortician, Zach goes to his job and Fatima goes to her job. Zach and Bryce finally have the sit down that they really needed. All is forgiven, all is well. Thank you, Jesus. Bryce, it's a relief off of him, and I think that he suffered enough. I mean, Zach said he was just going to try to make him suffer a little bit anyways. But finally things are back to normal. I think they had a hug and all that good stuff. Fatima reneged and is going to help Angela out. And Angela's asking what's going on. She's not really saying anything as of yet. It's like, we're cool, blah, 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 blah. It's like, Angela, I know you. Or Fatima, I know you, blah, 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 blah. She's still trying to play coy. Zach goes to the hospital and Jeremiah's ready to get out of the hospital. And he's ready to, he wants to go to rehab. Jeremiah does. It's going to cost $5,000. He talks to Fatima. I thank God for this show. This submission and accountability between this man and woman. There's not too many things that they do outside of one another that the other doesn't know. They at least check with each other, like, hey, this is going on, da 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 da. Fatima's like, you got it? Like, yeah, I do. Well, you said you want to do something. Go ahead. You go on and do what you say that you're going to do. So he's going to get him help for rehab. I don't know if he's coming to the funeral or not. However, thank God somebody put a bandage over that eye because that was scary to look at. Jeremiah wants to make a stop before they go. And Zach said, no. I said, well, I got to get some clothes. I said, we can get you some new clothes. Those are kind of excuses that addicts do make. But we got to make sure. Then I saw Zach kiss him on the forehead. I said, Lord, black men showing affection to each other. I know that that's got to be a devout thing. He had to have wanted to add that to this week's script or to this scene, because that's how he is with his own children, and I believe that's how he is with his family. I'm like, thank you for showing that. Like, I think that Zatima is a hidden gem on BET Plus, and it's not. And I wish more people would speak about it. Not to be just so obsessed with this Zatima. No, this show is telling some great story. And I love it. I love it so much. What else happened? So, Angela and Fatima are at Angela's home at this point, and Malachi is supposed to be meeting them there. He meets them there, and he wants to talk to Fatima. And Fatima's like, no, I don't want to. At this point, Angela knows that Fatima was his old love. He still says he's still in love with Fatima, and I haven't been able to get over you. And he ends up showing a tattoo of him on his chest, of her on his chest. I said, wait a minute. That's some obsession there. And then also, sir, you have a wife. That is so dumb. How do you cheat on somebody and now that you lost them and you made this woman? It's so weird. But there's some type of obsession between Fatima and Zach, because Malachi had been studying him, Zach also. So there's something quite weird about this FBI agent, as we call Malachi. All of a sudden he shows his tattoo. Like, sir, you still got a wife. That is so crazy. Yeah, but Leslie looks stupid and more stupid and more stupid. You cheated with this guy and this guy never really wanted you. He still wanted Fatima. Crazy. Again, I love these episodes. I didn't want to cry. But thank you guys, the cast and crew, all of you, for what you're giving to us in this show. I love it. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. You can like this video and also subscribe. And you can leave your comments below. Until the next one, peace.